Well, we made it to our hotel, fortunately, after a little bit of a crazy situation that I will show you guys, or we will show you guys here very, very soon. And literally standing on the side of the road in this dire situation of wondering, are we going to have to sleep in the car on the side of the Trans-Canadian Highway, I think is what it's actually called, Trans-Canadian Highway, in between Saskatchewan and Alberta, because we had, in the middle of recording a video, nonetheless, again, we can't make this stuff up, in the middle
Text from them too.
of what?
Sorry for the delay. We've escalated your service and we'll send it ETA with
Oh, okay. So she's showing me this text message.
Yeah.
From Porsche Roadside. Porsche Roadside.
Yeah.
So we have that because it's a certified pre-owned, which ironically, I was doing a review today of the car's performance so far on this trip. And sure enough, this happens, right? Mm-hmm. But it's also part of the reason why we have the car and we are taking the trip is because when I bought it, I said, you know what? It's got unlimited miles, unlimited warranty, unlimited roadside, whatever, for 2 years or 2 years after the expiration of the original manufacturer's warranty as a CPO. I was like, I want to get every little bit out of this. I want to put as many miles, take this joker as many places. And between the repair, service repair that I got under warranty for the air conditioning, the steering wheel, and probably now this this toe and these tires, it's going to more than pay for the cost of a CPO, which is a little bit higher than a just buying a used Porsche. But that's neither here nor there. What I do want to talk about is just these situations that we find ourselves in, whether it is by choice or not. We are cruising literally down the highway. I don't know if it's a highway, I guess. Or I don't know what they would call it here. It's not an interstate, obviously. Yeah. So we're cruising down the highway and we're in city limits and the hazards are on. We're in the right lane. You can see the spare tire on the car. And this FedEx truck decides that he wants to pull to the left to try to pass me. I don't know why.
Because we're about to go uphill.
If you truck drivers can tell me, please, why do you always insist on trying to pass on an uphill? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. When gravity, science, physics is going to be your friend on the downhill. I don't get it. So he tries to pass me on the left. Mind you, I'm in the right. Hazards are flashing. Cruise control is set to make sure I don't even exceed the speed of which the spare tire recommends as a maximum speed. For which we then start climbing the hill that obviously he slows down on because of the grade, pretty steep grade, and then drops back. My speed has not changed. Then we start to kind of level out, and then the FedEx truck wants to speed up again. At this time, decides to move over and try to run me off the road. Now, you said you're in his blind spot. Well, he put me in his blind spot.
I was about to say.
And he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
He did it on purpose because I think that he thought that I was trying to pass him and prevent him from passing me when in all actuality, I just had my cruise control set and you try to pass me on an uphill, pulling a double. Then you try to push me off the road. So then I move off into the shoulder, back off, and he didn't have his turn signal on.
Nope.
He had passed me originally. He knew I was there.
Yeah.
As I drop back, then he puts his turn signal on, and then he moves over. I swear it was done intentionally.
Yeah.
I swear it was done intentionally. But besides that, the drivers in Canada, the people in Canada, I'm very, very pleased.
Yeah.
I'm very, very
nice
pleased.
people.
It's very, look, this is not against him. This is just one probably a-hole driver, which I said, if you want to find, I told you guys yesterday, if you want to find somebody that is going to be an a-hole, catch them in the afternoon or rush hour traffic heading home. Well, what time is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. But I do want to point out something that has been standing out. And you even mentioned it last night. We received our waters as we were eating dinner. And this is the second time you said something, but you said, man, This water is really clear. And so one of the times you had mentioned was in Winnipeg in that market.
Yes.
I don't remember what the market was called. It's a real nice place. And then again last night in Moose, I was going to say Moose Jam. I don't know why I was going to say Moose Jam.
Because the W flips to the M.
Moose Jaw.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, this water is so clear.
It's so clear.
It tastes so
and that's
good.
with ice in it.
And I'm like, well, I mean, it really is. Like normally the water we get, it's got these weird
Little
floaties that
Yeah.
almost look like amoeba or some sort of like really tiny cell or something.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. Maybe it's some form of bacteria. Maybe it's some particle from the filters that they come from. I don't know. But regardless, the water tastes so much better
good.
here. Now, this is on top of having visited a Costco in Winnipeg. And we just visited another Costco here to see if they had a tire for us, which they don't.
They're very nice to try to look it up, though.
2 days out. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to manage this tire situation.
Yeah.
It should be an interesting ordeal. The other thing is the same tire in the U.S. is like $450 a tire for a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S 295 35 21. The same tire in Canada is almost $900 Canadian. But with the conversion, it's like $675.
Yeah, it's still
for the
really
same tire.
expensive. Yeah.
For the same tire.
Yeah.
I thought the guy was pulling my leg over. I don't know where we were at Kel Tire.
Yeah.
In the we were like an hour west.
Oh,
I'm sorry, an hour west of
Swift Current is what it's called.
Oh, Swift Current. Okay.
That's the name of the city, Swift Current.
Swift Current.
Yeah.
So we were in Swift Current. I thought he was pulling my leg because he knew the situation that we were in. But nah, that was just the price.
Actual price. You thought he was like, oh man, they need it. We can make a little money off it.
Man,
everybody here's been really nice and like truthful.
And very helpful.
Yes.
We're standing on the street corner, come out of the coffee shop, and she was like, I wonder what's going on with the Word Festival. And the guy was like, you want to know about the Word Festival? And he just like
starts giving me directions and whatever else. But you know, when we were on the side of the road with the flat tire, another car pulled up behind us after a while, put on their hazards, and the guy was going to get out and come see if we were okay. But at that point, I think he realized that you were good because
Oh, yeah, I started putting stuff back.
Yeah.
I was putting the pump, filling it up.
Yeah.
And I just gave him the thumbs up. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we did see some other folks after we got going again. We did almost 400 kilometers at 48 miles
48
an hour.
miles an hour. Yeah. It takes a very long time to do. In case anybody was curious.
I came up with so many different ways to just like kill time and get distracted. It was like, it's ridiculous. We started Google imaging
Bales of hay.
random stuff on the side of the road. 'Cause we were going so slow that she could hold the phone up and get a good shot.
Yeah.
So she's like Google imaging things and searching and just seeing what it is.
Yeah.
And we saw a muskrat, completely off topic. But
Yes.
either
They're
way,
really cute.
yeah. So we passed a hitchhiker, maybe homeless
I don't know.
dude
He was
on the
sitting
middle
on
of
the ground, but he had a fishing pole. But he was sitting facing away from the road. But he was.
I don't know how he got there.
This
I don't know how he got there.
I don't
Maybe he
know
got dropped off. You didn't see it before the whole fiasco. There was a truck off into the ditch with caution tape around and all the windows blown out. I don't know what happened. It's a gray Dodge Ram coming out of Moose Jaw. But then I saw another Ram on the opposite side with a trailer, and he had the front wheel off, blocked up, trying to get a jack. The shoulders here are not very wide. Mm-hmm. They're all gravel. Like, it's not a great place to have an issue.
And there was that bicyclist who was just bicycling the whole thing.
Yeah. So yeah, he has. I think it's
saddlebags on the side. And
I don't remember exactly what kind of. It's not a cyclocross bike, but it's kind of resembles that a little bit. And it's like a hybrid sort of. And he's got the bags, so he could literally. Odds are he's riding at least 100 miles. Self-sustained food. The water is he's probably using the life straw because Kyle, he used to do that and he would sleep in the most random places and he would ride his bike for hundreds of miles. Unreal. The bike would actually have some sort of regenerative feature so that as he's pedaling, it was producing power so he could charge his phone and his earbuds and different things.
Cool.
Like
that's definitely not a cheap bike.
and literally by himself. The crazy part about it is we had that app that would track your ride. I don't remember exactly what the app was called, but he was like, man, it would be really cool to show it to you, but he goes, I don't want to use the app because I don't want people tracking me. So he just had to tell us about where he would go and show us these random pictures of like, he would literally find empty, abandoned barns and just sleep in them.
I was trying to see if I still had the app.
I don't remember what that app was called.
Me either.
But either way, we made it here. But more importantly, I asked Michelle along the way, you know what? Why does the water in Canada taste so much better? Speaking of which, she had gone to Costco, like I mentioned earlier. I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm just trying to get my thoughts collected here. She went into Costco and she goes, the chicken is smaller. The chicken is smaller. Mm-hmm. So the chicken's smaller, the water tastes different, but ultimately we're going to say it tastes better, which Canada technically has the 4th best tasting water in the world and the score ranking of grade A.
Yeah.
Where we're not going to say it, but can you guess what score, without Googling it, can you guess what score the U.S. has as far as water?
If you're a really thirsty person, it'll make you want to move to Canada.
Yeah, it'll definitely make you want to get like extra filters or the ionizing osmosis things or whatever.
This may be why the food here in Canada has tasted so flipping good, because they have clean water growing their food.
You got all right, in conjunction, we need to go eat. It's been a while. But in conjunction, you have food that's grown without the added pesticides and GMOs, being cooked and prepared with other ingredients that don't have all these added pesticides and GMOs that are ultimately killing people. Like, I thought that the situation that we were in was pretty, dangerous, so to speak. Middle of the road, middle of nowhere, side of the road, and crazy FedEx drivers. But really and truly, this food situation is quite possibly the most dangerous. With what they're putting in, what they're allowed to put in, or what they put in that they're not allowed to put in, and they just wait to get their hand slapped.
What you got to say is literally the most dangerous in the U.S. because it's not dangerous in Canada. It's not dangerous in other countries. It's the U.S. that the manufacturers are killing the people.
I was saying that like it was assumed.
I'll put it out there.
Now, granted, we did mention that the all these canola fields.
Yeah.
Now those are not those are genetically modified canola.
Possibly.
But the thing is they grow it. I get it. However, you can choose to cook with olive oil instead.
Yeah, or lard or butter. All better for you than canola oil.
So, yeah, that's really what's going on. Is maybe it's just our experience. Maybe it's not so much like that much better, but immediately it seems like it is. It seems like it is, and this is just in comparison to Canada to the U.S. Now, the other thing is we do have plans coming back. I mentioned a really cool shipping container Airbnb that I wanted to check out. But in addition to that, there was another Airbnb, which was actually, it was a chicken coop. They called it the chicken coop, but it was just a tiny house. It was a tiny home with this really nice, like, white birch wood. I think maybe, is that the main wood that the Amish typically use? It's a lighter color wood. It's almost like white. It's like really bright yellow white. It's kind of hard to explain. But it was a small, tiny house. They dubbed it the chicken coop. And I wanted to check it out. But it was on an Amish farm. And then the pictures for the Airbnb show the Amish farm. But that's the thing. It's like they probably know this already. They probably know, they probably don't even realize it because they haven't eaten what we eat.
Yeah.
Or are being fed. Or
I doubt there's any obese Amish people.
Is being put on the shelves at these stores and these labels that are being mislabeled. Because you do realize these companies, they know it's like, well, it's going to cost this much money to change the ingredient or update the label or do this, that, and the other, or get, another FDA inspection or test or whatever. And they're like, well, I hear you, But how much is it going to cost if we get caught?
I was about to say, under the table tweak and hope you don't get caught.
And they're like, well, it would cost roughly the same, but it would be 10% less. And they're like, oh, so no matter what, that would be cheaper? Mm-hmm. This is how businesses typically operate.
Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
There's no real moral ethics or any real consideration for the lives of others. It's really just about how much money can they make, how quickly can they pump out a product, and how much of it can they buy, and then how much trouble they're going to get into that they can ultimately get out of quickly, which will probably be long drawn out over many years. So it's like we're gonna put some harmful ingredients and chemicals into these foods. Great, not great. But then we're gonna put it on the shelf. Cool, not cool. And then people are going to
charge an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah, and then people are going to consume it. And then over the course of a year or two, there will be some complaints. There'll be some tests. There'll be some lawsuits. And then maybe 3 or 4 years, we'll actually get to the table of arbitration. And it's a numbers game.
But first, you have to prove that's what did it.
Yeah, prove. And then they may just say, you know what? We don't want to accept any blame. We will just agree to pay a settlement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And we've been down that road before. We saw it with Fox News, and they agreed to pay that settlement, almost $800 million, just to not have to put, folks on the stand and testify. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong. I'm just saying this is how businesses operate. But unfortunately, this is how businesses operate when it comes to the things that we eat and we ingest that are theoretically, in some instances, supposed to be healthy. They're supposed to be healthy and good for us. Now, we got to go. I appreciate you guys spending this time with us. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you're still here, because you're not going to want to miss. Turn your alerts and notifications on, because I'm going to put this video together to show you guys exactly what happened.
It's interesting.
And what we did to fix it. Yes. How we prepared, or were prepared, and went into action in this SHTF moment on the side of the Trans-Canadian Highway near
Swift Current.
Swift Current. The names of these Canadian places is like they're just interesting. They're interesting. Whereas now we are in what is considered. I'm gonna put this out there, and if you guys know what this is, comment down below. We are now in the Florida of Canada. Can you guess where that is?
Okay, I get it.
We are in the Florida of Canada.
Yeah.
Can you guess where that is? All right, we're out of here. See y'all.
Bye.